A nurse tells Kevin Randall, "Things are happening swiftly now. I don't think she'll be able to make it through the night. I believe it is past time to say our farewell." The Pearsons and other family and friends assemble to say their goodbyes to Rebecca in the next scene. "So much of being a mom is imitating what we think a mom should be," Beth Pearson says in a voiceover. She appears to say to Rebecca, "All these years I was doing my best impression of you." In tonight's penultimate episode of This Is Us, we see the characters we've grown to love over 6 emotionally breathtaking seasons bid their final goodbyes to Rebecca Pearson, the family matriarch. Obviously, the episode is packed with endless tear-jerking moments. This holds true for the episode's subplots, which involve an unfamiliar family having a tragic night, and adult Deja disclosing some big news. Of course, at the heart of the episode are Rebecca's dying moments, which the family endures at the Poconos house and Rebecca undergoes in her mind, seeing her younger self on a luxurious train like her father often dreamed about bringing her on. Hence the episode's title, The Train. Life lessons abound, possibly even more on the nose and, beautifully, cheesy than any other episode in the series' history. There's also a sense that, while the show has long been structured around Superdad Jack Pearson, it's been just as much Rebecca's tale all along, as this last season pushed toward and these final episodes cemented. We're ending this journey on her life and legacy, and it's lovely. Let's take a look at that narrative and the others that surround it. The episode begins in an unknown time period with an unknown family, parents, 2 sons and a girl, joking around in the car. The family is immediately involved in a car accident, but everyone survives except Marcus, who requires surgery. Marcus' father runs into Jack Pearson in the hospital coffee shop. It's the night of the Pearson house fire. Except for bandaged wrists and a soot-covered appearance, Jack appears to be in good health. When the men start conversing, Jack offers Marcus's worried father the advice of Dr. K, the Pearsons' loving obstetrician, who offered it 18 years before in the pilot episode, "When life gives you lemons, make lemonade." Marcus' father returns to his family in the waiting area after Jack is taken to a room to be checked out. Marcus passes out on the operation table, but Jack appears to be in good health in his hospital bed. Rebecca hurries to the vending machine while the doctor rushes to Marcus. Marcus recovers, but Jack succumbs to cardiac arrest as a result of smoke inhalation. Both reversals astound the doctor. There's a message about life and death, the cycle, and yet the spontaneity of it all. Randall makes similar observations on Rebecca's deathbed, but no one accepts his philosophical soliloquy. We meet adult Marcus at a medical lab undertaking cancer research, which is intertwined with this night. He walks with a cane and a limp when he hurries to alert his boss about a potential breakthrough, presumably due to the childhood injury. Marcus's boss claims that his findings are insufficient to rescue the project from being shut down due to a lack of funds. Marcus then complains to his siblings about wasting years chasing something that never materializes. His sister cites the family motto, the lemon's wisdom Jack offered all those years ago, and his brother remarks that it's absurd to imagine he'd cure cancer on his first try. Marcus appears to have followed that advice in the future, since his cancer study led to a breakthrough on another illness, Alzheimer's. As a result, the circle of life rings true for the Pearsons. Marcus is connected to the Pearson narrative because of that revelation and the hospital analogies, but another connection is indicated throughout the episode. Marcus may be involved with Deja. That, however, is a misdirection, and Deja's mystery is unrelated. Deja arrives at the farewell party with a secret. She's expecting a child. She does, however, inform Randall right away. He's overjoyed, and as he hugs Deja, she lets his happiness rub off on her. However, she seemed more anxious than excited about the pregnancy at first, pointing out that the timing is tricky because she just started her medical residency and the baby's father, who she refers to only as him, is a workaholic, and they aren't married yet. She appears unsure of their relationship, and it appears that her guy is Marcus, since it goes from this scene to Marcus in the lab, and then back to Deja in another scene when Marcus's employer asks whether he has someone to go home to. The back and forth continues, but eventually the disclosure takes place. Deja's partner arrives while she is asleep at the Poconos residence that night. That man is Malik, not Marcus. After all, she and her first love reconnected. He even opened the restaurant he'd always wanted to open. Malik, contrary to Deja's fears, is ecstatic about the pregnancy. He's been in love with her since he was 16, and he's excited to marry her and start a family with her. Another happy conclusion for a Pearson young love story. The Rebecca goodbye is tremendously difficult, as enjoyable as the Deja and Marcus puzzles are. The family is eating together when the story begins. Toby expresses gratitude to Kevin for the invitation and banters like the Toby we first fell in love with. With the exception of Kate, who is hurrying back from London, where she is delivering her California arts curriculum, Philip arrives with Toby and Kate's children, and everyone is present. Nikki breaks the melancholy tension by joking about who should say farewell first after the nurse tells she doesn't expect Rebecca to survive the night. Beth helps out, MVP always. Beth talks on how faking it when it comes to parenthood, and despite having her own wonderful mother, she frequently looks to Rebecca for inspiration. Beth then thanks Rebecca for her role in shaping Randall's personality and announces that she will now be responsible for his care. Meanwhile, Kate finds that she might not make it in time as her plane takes off. Her brothers tell her that Rebecca didn't want them to give up their aspirations, so she quickly regrets her journey. So Kate just asks her brothers to inform Rebecca that she will be there. Back at the house, Kevin spins a record of Rebecca's favorite musician, Joni Mitchell, and tells the story of how he and Rebecca broke into Joni's home. Then, when individuals enjoyed private moments with the matriarch, everyone shares Rebecca memories together. Sophie contrasts Rebecca and Jack's love story to burn Kevin's, while Toby thinks on Rebecca's unfailing love and faith. Annie recalls Rebecca's assistance in overcoming her inability to blend in with the family. We don't see a similar scene between Rebecca and Tess, Deja, or Nikki, but Annie's is nonetheless beautiful. Kevin and Randall eventually arrive at Rebecca's bedside together. They discuss a variety of topics, including strange memories. It's morning, and Rebecca, despite the nurse's predictions, is still alive. As a result, Kate arrives on time, rushing through the door. The siblings express their love for Rebecca. Randall thanks her and says they're good, and as he feels her slipping away, he tells their father hello. Rebecca imagines herself on a luxurious train as her younger self, dressed in a stunning reddish-pink dress, as the Pearsons bid their goodbyes in the actual world. William, Randall's biological father, appears. She inquires about the poetry that gave her Randall's name. He reads it to her and then invites her to join him at the bar cart. She's looking for someone, but she ends up following him. Rebecca sees both adult and college-age Beth in the next car as she hears actual Beth say goodbye. William then pushes Rebecca to the bar car, where Dr. K is the bartender. Dr. K appreciates Rebecca's parenting, expresses surprise that she survived her childbirth and subsequent loss of a kid, and then Jack praises what she made of her and her family's lives, commends her resilience, and says she deserved a break. Rebecca notices her sons at various ages as he speaks, but Kate isn't present. Rebecca thanks Dr. K and continues down the train with William. Rebecca sees Sophie and Kevin as toddlers and teenagers, then Toby with baby Jack, and last young Annie as real-life Sophie, Toby, and Annie bid their goodbyes. She eventually runs across Miel, who tells her that she is still his favorite person. Then William and Rebecca arrive at the caboose, which we heard is special to Rebecca earlier this season. Rebecca refuses to enter because she is waiting for someone, but when she hears Kate's voice, she is content. Young Kate sits beside a bed in the caboose, her jar of lightning bugs providing the origin for Rebecca's affectionate nickname for Kate, Bug. Rebecca laments the loss of her mother. If something makes you sad when it ends, it must have been quite fantastic when it was occurring. William says in a typical "this is a speech." The conclusion is not depressing. It's only the beginning of the next breathtakingly wonderful thing. William walks away, and Rebecca sits on the bed before lying down. She discovers Jack alongside her as she turns over. When she says hello, the audience gathers tissues, sheds more emotions, and prepares to do it all over again for next week's Aftermath series finale episode, which will bring this important Pearson story to a close.